Hello there. Welcome back to Financial Accounting at 5. This video, I want to look at the question paper of June 2025, whereby we are going to look at the preparation of the statement of changes in equity. So, our question reads, Randy, Brandy, and Mandy are in partnership as beauty salon on 30 December 2023, the end of financial year. Use the information of beauty salon to complete the following. So on the first part, we have to prepare the statement of profit or loss and other comprehensive income for the year ended 30 December 2023. Of course, we have got a total of 9 marks. We go to the second part, statement of changes in equity, with a total of 31 marks. So we are given the beauty salon had the following balances in their books. So we have got balances that we have that we can just go through. And continuation of our question, we've got the partnership agreement which provides for the following. We have got terms of the partnership agreement. And of course, remember our first part, we have to prepare the statement of profit and loss. So in terms of our other section, this is what we have. So in terms of the first figure that we are going to start with, it's going to be our net profit. So we start with our net profit. So in terms of our net profit, we go back to the question and try to see where do we have our net profit. But if you come here, you see that we've got a profit or loss or the net profit, 502,400 is indicated. So this is going to be our net profit that we're going to start with in the statement. So we're going to have our 502,400. So with that, we move on to the next part whereby we can check if we have salaries in the question. Well, of course, these salaries has to be salaries that are mentioned in the partnership agreement. That remember, the part that we are preparing is the appropriation part. So we are going to check in terms of our salaries, what we have in terms of our salaries according to our partnership agreement. So if we go to our partnership agreement, you would see that it reads on the first part, which is number 1. Randy must receive a salary of 4,000 rands and Mandy 5,000 rand per month. Very important. So salary we've got for Randy and also we've got for Mandy. So we are going to say salary. Salary, and then of course we have the one for Randy, which is given as 4,000 per month. Is indicated as per month. So we're going to say multiply 4,000 times 12. So we come here, we do show the calculation in brackets, whereby we are saying 4,000, and then we multiply by 12. So the answer that you are supposed to get is 48,000. So we have 48,000. So in terms of our Ahmed as the other partner, we go and check again in terms of our partnership agreement made this 5,000 per month. So you say 5,000 times 12. So we multiply like that, we're going to get your answer as 80,000. We try to see what do we get, but it's not going to be 80,000, but we get our answer is 60,000. Then from our salaries, we need to add so that we get the total for salary. We're supposed to come here, and of course, so we have to close on this part. So we say 40,000 plus 60,000, you're going to get your answer is 108,000. And of course, we are supposed to subtract it, our salary from our net profit. So we can show it in brackets. Whereby if we subtract, the answer that we are supposed to get now is supposed to come here as our 1,500, 2,400 minus 108,000. But at this point, we can leave it there, and we are put other deductions that are supposed to be subtracted. And remember, we can check for our finance costs. So we can say less finance costs, which is our interest rate or the interest that's supposed to be paid. So going to our question, you'd see that in terms of our finance costs, I will check what do we have. If you go to 4, it indicates that only 10,500 rands of the interest of the loan has been paid to the partner branch. So only 10,500 was paid. So what was supposed to be paid is what we did. So we go back to the question and try to see what does it say. It says 16%, and the total amount of the loan is 80,000. So we are going to say we are with this part. So we're going to say 16%, which is 0.16 as a decimal. You multiply by 80,000. So we do calculate like that. We are going to see that the answer that we are going to get is 12,800. So we can go and summarize that in brackets, whereby we say interest on loan. Then in brackets, we are saying 16%, which is 16%, and then we multiply by 80,000. And then we do that, we are going to get is 12,800. So that is what we have for that part. And with that, we move on in terms of adding to get the total for finance costs. Remember, we have got only 12,800, which means we can close on this part. So for 12,800, if we see that we've got one figure, so we are supposed to just take 2,800 and put it on this column. And of course, we are supposed also to subtract it since it's an expense. So we go to the next part whereby we now calculate, as it we are saying, net profit minus salary minus finance cost. So basically, we are saying 500, 2,400 minus 108,000 minus 12,800. Then the answer that we get to come here is 381, 381,600. So this figure becomes the profit for the year. Profit for the year. So because our profit for the year, I will check for other comprehensive income for the year. So we are saying other comprehensive income. So we check if we have got other comprehensive income in the question, but in this question, we do not have such. So you can just put a dash. Then the final figure becomes the total comprehensive income for the year. Which is going to be the same figure, which is 381,600. So that is the part of our statement of profit or loss and other comprehensive income. So with that, we move on to the next part, whereby the next part of the question requires us to prepare the statement of changes in equity. So for the statement of changes in equity, we have it here. Of course, we have got the balance in the beginning as pre-entered. Then from there, we are supposed to move on to the second part, whereby we are supposed to end up the total comprehensive income for the year. Remember, we've calculated that. So here we can say total comprehensive income for the year. Total comprehensive income for the year. total comprehensive income, and then the figure that we got, remember, is 381,600. So it's supposed to come here. It's 381,600, and we're going to put it in the column for appropriation. So it's supposed to come in the appropriation column. Is 381,600. And of course, from there, we are supposed to add all the balance in the beginnings, whereby we are saying 260,000 plus 430,000 plus 100,000 plus 80,800 minus 43,700 minus 59,100. Then we get the total that's supposed to come in this column is 768,000. So our comprehensive income again has to come again in the total column is 381,600, and it's coming as an addition to our opening balance. So from there, we move on to the next part whereby we are supposed to check for interest on capital. So for interest on capital, we go to the partnership agreement. What does it say? It says each partner receives interest on capital and interest on current is at 8%. So we are having interest on current and capital being 8%. So of course, we are going to check in terms of the capital balances that we have. Of course, we do have our capital balance on this part, whereby rent is 260,000. So this is our rent. So we multiply this figure by 8%, which is 0.08 as a decimal. So we see what we get, 260,000. And then we multiply by 0.08. And you're going to get your answer as 20,800. So we come here at interest on capital. We are here. And for rent, remember the interest on capital is supposed to be put in the column for our current account. So we go to our current account and put for rent, we put 20,800. Here, it's current account, 20,800. Then interest on capital for brand, we multiply the one that we are given by the capital balance by 0.08. So for branding, it's 430,000. So we are multiplying it by 0.08. So we calculate it, we are going to get your answer as 34,400. Calculate it and see what we get. For brandy, we multiply by 0.08. That's 430,000. 430,000 times 0.08. So we can check in terms of the column that we have is for brandy. So for brandy, we are saying 430 times 0.08, and the answer that we are supposed to get for interest on capital is 34,400. So we take 34,400 and put it here. Then interest on capital again, we've got for Mendi. Of course, we refer back. Mendi, we are having a balance of 100,000 is capital. We multiply by 0.08. You're going to get it as 8,000, of course. So we have 8,000. Then, of course, we are supposed to add all the interest on capitals. That is 20,800 plus 34,400 plus 8,000, we get the total, which is supposed to come in the appropriation as a negative. So it's 63,200. So we can take note that the interest on capital, when it is under the current account, it is a positive. But when it goes to appropriation, the total figure will go as a negative. So that is what we have. Then we go to the next part whereby we have now interest on current account. So we are saying interest interest on current, of course, we are also supposed to put it under the current account columns. So we check, remember the explanation that we have is that it is also 8%. So we go to the current balances and multiply by 8%. So current balances that we have them here, and we are having Rand 80,800. So we are saying 80,800 times again 0.08. And here we are going to multiply again by 0.08 and then times 0.08. So let's start with Rand 80,800 times 0.08. You are going to get it as 6,464. We are going to get it as 6,464. We go to the next one, which is the next one is bread, 47,700, but it's a debit balance now. Take note, it is a debit balance. So debit balance, it means it's a negative, but it's a negative in the statement of changes in equity. So 3,700 times 0.08, we are going to get it as 3,490. 3,496. 3,496. So we can just try to calculate that one by saying 43,700 times 0.08. 3,496. So we come here, we put 3,496, but we are going to put it as a negative. Remember, our balance is a negative. And then we calculate again 59,100, we would multiply it by 0.08. So you see what we get when you multiply by 59,100 times 0.08. We are going to get is a 4,728. 4,728, and again, it is going to be a negative. And of course, to get the total for appropriation, we're going to say 6,464 minus 3,496 minus 4,728. Then we get the total that is supposed to come under appropriation. So you see that the answer that we get there is going to be 1,760. 1,760, which is going to be a negative. So when you get a negative, here it becomes opposite. It becomes a positive. So here we presented as a negative because the answer was a positive. We said positive 20,800 plus positive 34,400 plus positive 8,000 to get a positive 63,200. So when it gets under appropriation, it changes sign to become a negative. So this one we got negative 1,760. Now it has changed sign to become a positive. So that's all what we have. Then we go to the next part whereby we have got interest on loan. So we check again in terms of our interest on loan, what we have according to the question. So the interest on loan that is supposed to be included in the statement of changes in equity is interest on loan that is not yet paid. Remember, the interest on loan that is only paid is 10,500. It is only 10,500 rands of interest on the loan has been paid to a partner brand. And what was supposed to be paid is found in the balances, whereby we are given a loan of brand 16%. So if it says 16% of 80,000, we did calculate that, and then we got 12,800. So it means 12,800 was what was supposed to be paid, and what was only paid is 10,500. So we're going to say 12,800 minus 10,500 to find the part that that is not yet paid. So in that case, if you calculate like that, you see that you're going to get it as 2,300. So 2,300 is the amount that is supposed to be in the statement of changes in equity as interest on loan. And remember, this is a loan for Brandy. So you're going to put it in the column for Brandy under the current account. So we go there and we go under Brandy with Brandy here. So we put it 2,300. And we put it as a positive, and then it's supposed to go to the totals column again as a positive figure again. So with that, I will move on to the next part whereby we are supposed to have our from interest on loan. We're supposed to have our salary. So we say salary. And remember, salary according to the information that we have is for Mendi and Randi. So the salary that is supposed to be the center of change in equity is the salary that is not yet paid. So remember, so what was paid in terms of salary is given in the list of balances, whereby Randi 20,400 was paid, and then Mendi 35,000 was paid. So for Randi, what was supposed to be paid is what we calculated in the statement of profit and loss. What was supposed to be paid is 48,000, and what was paid is 20,400. So if we find the difference to find what is not yet paid, we are going to say the 48,000, and then we subtract 20,400. So we calculate and see what we get for ready. So you're going to get it as 27,600. So 27,600 is the part that is not yet paid, that is supposed to be in the statement of changes in equity. So if you come here, we are going to ready, and we put that amount as 27,600. 27,600 is indicated. So we have 10,600. And then with that now, we go to the next part whereby we have another salary for Medi. For Medi, what was supposed to be paid for Medi, we get it here is 60,000, and what was actually paid is 35,000. So we say 60 minus 35,000. So we are saying 60,000 minus 35,000. And then we get a part that is not yet paid is 25,000. So 25,000 is the amount that is supposed to come to the settlement of changes in equity for Brandy. So for Brandy, there is no salary, so you can just put a dash, and then we have 25,000. And of course, we are supposed to add the two, which is supposed to come in the column for total. 27,600 plus 25,000 will come in the column for total is 52,600. So that's what was that we have on that part. Then we move on to the next part from salary, and we go to from salary, we are supposed to have our bonus. Of course, we have a bonus that we have that is Brand is entitled to a bonus of 10% of the net profit before appropriation. 10% of the net profit before appropriation. And we check in terms of the net profit before appropriation that we have. The net profit before appropriation is the one that we put here, or the one that we found in the assessment of profit and loss, which is 381,600. So if you say 10% of that figure times 381,600, you're going to get your answer is 38,106. So this is the bonus, and the bonus is for Brandy. So you're going to put it in the column for for Brent, which we have as our bonus, and Brent, we have the column for Brent on this part, which is 38,160. So this a total for the bonus is also supposed to be transferred under appropriation. So we put it under appropriation is 38,160. And when it comes under appropriation, it changes sign and becomes a negative. So this is what we have on that part. Then from bonus, we now go to drawings. So for drawings, we refer back to the question and see what drawings do we have. And of course, we've got drawings ready 10,300. And we have got 34,500 for, we've got ready 10,300, ready 34,500. And then we have 16,900 for men. So we list those drawings under the current account. So you are putting in these columns, whereby on the first column for Brady, we have drawings of 10,300. And the next we have got Brady, of which our drawings should be in as a negative. Then other Brady, we have got 34,500. And then other Brady is 16,900. So remember, we have got negatives. So you can just cross check in terms of the amounts, 16,800. Then from there, we add to get the total for our drawings, which is supposed to be in the total column. So we are saying 10,300 plus 34,500 plus 16,800. We get the total. We put it in the column for our totals, which is supposed to be 61,700. So of course, we've got an extension of our lines, whereby after drawings now we have the partner's share. So on this part is supposed to be partners partners share. So we can show an extension of our lines. So that we can now see in terms of our partners share. Of course, we go to the appropriation column, whereby we start with 381,600. We subtract 63,200. We add 1,760. We subtract 38,160. And then the net figure that you are supposed to get, which is supposed to be shared, is 282,000. So we have 282,000, which is supposed to be shared. So with that 282,000, we now check in terms of the profit sharing ratio. So we refer back to the question to see that this is the remaining profit must be divided as these proportions. Rent is 30%. So what we mean is this 282,000 already is going to get 30%. So if you say 30% times 282,000, we are going to get the share for already, which is supposed to be 84,600. And then the share for Brady is 50%. So we are saying 50% times 282,000, we get your answer is 141,000. The next one is made the 20%. So you're saying 20% times 282,000, you get 56,400. So basically that's what we have on that part. So the profits are shared. And then with that, we can now go to the totals column, totals row, whereby we are going to put our totals. So for our totals, we are saying for the capital, the totals are not going to change. 260 is going to come as 260. 430 for brand coming as 430, then made 100,000. No adjustments throughout the year. So we are having 260,000. Then we have 430. Then we have got 100,000. Then we check in terms of our ready. So we say 80,800 plus 20,800 plus 6,464 plus 27,600 minus 10,300 plus 84,600. You're going to get the net figure is 209,964. So you do the same in the column for bread, starting from negative 43,700 plus 34,400 minus 3,496 plus 2,300 plus 13,160 minus 34,500 plus 141,000. And then the net figure that you are supposed to get is 134,164. So you do the same thing for main D, that you are supposed to get a positive 8,672. Then in the total, in the appropriation, is going to be a zero, since all the profits were shared, all the remaining profits that were there were shared. So in the totals column now, we do the same, whereby it's 768,000 plus 381,600 plus 2,300 plus 52,600. Then this one is the total for 61,700 is for drawings, so it's supposed to be subtracted. So we show it by putting in brackets. So we subtract it, and then we get a net figure of 1,142,800. So this becomes the final figure. So basically, this is what we have, guys. I'm going to this video. Thank you for listening. It will meet again in the next video.